Hello everyone, this is Dr. Santosh. In this class, we will talk about glycine and serine metabolism, a very important metabolism. So in this metabolism, we will talk about 4 points. We will talk about how glucose produce glycine and serine, then how this happens during fed condition, well fed condition, and in fasting condition, how this glycine and serine produce glucose through gluconeogenesis, fasting condition, prolonged fasting condition, and then glycine and serine. How does this serine? We will also talk about how does this serine will produce cysteine. Then fourth point we will talk about is how this glycine and serine serve as source of methylene tetrahydrofolate, and methylene tetrahydrofolate is very important compound that is utilized for synthesis of purine and pyrimidine, especially thymine. Now see, all point I have written in the line. So these two are purely glucosenic amino acid because they produce glucose. They are not ketogenic, purely glucosenic amino acid, and they join gluconeogenesis through pyruvate as pyruvate, and pyruvate will convert into oxaloacetate, and oxaloacetate will convert into glucose. So this is how they are glucosenic amino acid, and this synthesis of glucose will occur during prolonged fasting condition. This is part of metabolism, that is catabolism of serine and glycine will result in glucose that happens during prolonged fasting condition. Remember this fact. I have been telling this gluconeogenesis occurs during prolonged fasting condition. Catabolism of amino acid also happens during prolonged fasting condition. Now glucose will produce from glycolysis 3-phosphoglycerate, and 3-phosphoglycerate will produce glycine and serine. This point, these two are glycine and serine are the source of methylene tetrahydrofolate. We will talk about how these reactions interplay between glycine and serine and this methylene tetrahydrofolate. And then last point we will talk about how cysteine is synthesized. We will talk in a very brief manner because I have already done a lecture on cysteine synthesis. So we will talk about how serine converts into cysteine. So let's begin with the today's topic. First, let's talk about the catabolism of amino acid. So catabolism of amino acid, remember the catabolism of amino acid and gluconeogenesis both occur during prolonged fasting condition because catabolism of amino acid occurs to feed gluconeogenesis. As we can see here, about 20 out of 20, 18 amino acid feed gluconeogenesis, and among these amino acid we will talk today about glycine and serine. Glycine and serine will convert into pyruvate, and pyruvate into oxaloacetate into phosphoenol pyruvate into glucose. And remember, the purpose of this Krebs cycle during fasting condition is gluconeogenesis, and through this Krebs cycle all amino acids joins here, and during fed condition this Krebs cycle is a broken cycle. Remember this. Now let's talk about each point in the stepwise reaction. This serine, we are talking about serine. So this is serine, amino acid serine. This is amino acid serine. Serine has 3 carbon, as we can see 3 carbon. 1 carbon acid, because this is amino acid, so COOH group. And second carbon, this is 1 carbon, with second carbon NH2 group is attached, and third carbon OH group is attached. So we require 3 carbon compound. And this 3 carbon compound is derived from glycolysis. So through glycolysis, glucose will produce. So if you must be knowing the glycolysis, so glucose will produce 3-phosphoglycerate. 3-phosphoglycerate. This is 3-phosphoglycerate. And from this 3-phosphoglycerate, through this dehydrogenation reaction, convert into a phosphoketo acid. And this phosphoketo acid, in second step, it will convert into phosphoserine through transamination reaction. The transamination is called phosphoserine transamination. This is reversible reaction. If you can see, this is reversible reaction. Up to these two steps are reversible steps. But after this step, third step is irreversible step, and phosphate is released at this step. And this will form serine. So 3-phosphoglycerate will convert ultimately into serine through series of 3-step reaction. 3 carbon will change into 3 carbon serine. If you remember the structure of this compound, it will be very easy to understand what is the source of this serine synthesis. What is the source of carbon of this serine synthesis? First reaction, second reaction, third reaction. After now, let's see this how this serine is converted into glycine. So serine is converted into glycine through one reaction called serine hydroxymethyl transferase. In this reaction, we will get one methylene tetrahydrofolate, and this is a vitamin B6 catalyzed reaction. You can see in amino acid metabolism, serine metabolism, there are many vitamin B6 requiring steps. And vitamin B6 is very important for catabolism of amino acid. Any amino acid, wherever you see amino acid, there you will find vitamin B6 reaction. Here also vitamin B6 will be there. I have not written this vitamin B6, but vitamin B6, everywhere vitamin B6 will come. So as a general rule, you have to understand that amino acid catabolism always require vitamin B6. Now let's talk about this conversion of this glycine. So this glycine can interconvert, glycine and serine can interconvert into each other by utilizing methylene tetrahydrofolate, and this reaction is also source of methylene tetrahydrofolate in our body. And this glycine will also can convert into this CO2 and NH4. CO2 and NH4. You can see this, and because of this reaction, what happens is methylene tetrahydrofolate is also released in this reaction. Also, methylene tetrahydrofolate is released here also. So first reaction also releases methylene tetrahydrofolate, and this reaction will also conversion of glycine by carbon dioxide and NH4 ammonia will result in methylene tetrahydrofolate. So methylene tetrahydrofolate is one methylene tetrahydrofolate will be derived from this serine, and the serine will convert into glycine. Again, next methylene tetrahydrofolate will be derived from glycine, and glycine will break into carbon dioxide and ammonia. And that is why this reaction is called, this enzyme is called glycine cleavage complex. And for opposite reaction, it is also the same enzyme is called glycine synthase also. So this is a reversible reaction. This is also reversible reaction. In our body, glycine can also be synthesized from this. Only we require is very high amount of this methylene tetrahydrofolate. If methylene tetrahydrofolate is enough in our body, this glycine can be directly synthesized from carbon dioxide and ammonia. And this, after synthesis of glycine, if it is very high, so serine can also be synthesized. But main reaction, main pathway of synthesis of serine is this. Rather than this is also optional pathway, but main pathway of synthesis of serine is this, and from this serine, glycine will also be synthesized. So we have seen glycine and serine can be synthesized by two ways. This way from glucose, and this way also. This way also, if we have high amount of methylene tetrahydrofolate. But this is the main pathway, and therefore we can see this methylene is also ultimately derived from glucose here. So if we remember this whole pathway, if we can connect, we will have good concept. Now let's see how this serine is converted into pyruvate. Serine is converted into pyruvate by simple deamination reaction. by deamination reaction. Serine, threonine and histidine. These three amino acids do not undergo transamination. They directly go under deamination. And this deamination will produce pyruvate. And this pyruvate will join glucose. It will form oxaloacetate, and oxaloacetate will form glucose. Now this same serine can also convert into cysteine. I have already taken this class about how this serine converts into cysteine. So serine, this cysteine gets carbon skeleton from serine, but the sulfur group here, difference between cysteine and serine is only sulfur. Cysteine has sulfur group here. Now this cysteine gets sulfur group from homocysteine, and homocysteine is derived from methionine. So ultimately sulfur comes from methionine through very famous reaction, very important reaction called transsulfuration. So this is how serine will provide cysteine, serine provides glycine, serine provides methylene tetrahydrofolate. So serine metabolism is, that is the serine synthesis and breakdown. This is very important metabolic pathway. If you understand this, you will understand many things here. You will understand folate metabolism, you will understand synthesis of cysteine, you will understand synthesis of glycine, and you will understand how amino acid is derived from carbohydrate. This amino acid derived from carbohydrate. As we already know, this non-essential amino acids are derived from carbohydrate. So with this class we will end this lecture. Thank you for watching. Thank you.